Hello. Hello, hello. How's everybody doing? My name is Rob, and welcome to the live stream. Can you hear me? Thumbs up if you can hear me. Just want to get confirmation of that. It looks like you can. I can. Learning and Tech with Frank. Thank you, Frank. Awesome. How's everybody doing today? Haven't seen you in a week. Hope you all had a great week. I did. Was very busy. So yeah, welcome to the live stream. My name is Rob, and I do these every week to help you with Camtasia, primarily, but also YouTube, editing videos in general, business, how to set up for recording yourself, audio, video, whatever you need help with, live streaming, uploading content to YouTube, all of that kind of bundled together. But the base of it all for me is Camtasia. That's what I use to edit videos, and that is what all of my YouTube videos have been about for the last several months. So probably 50 plus videos or so. Hopefully you enjoy them. Hopefully you get some help from them. So let me just dive right into the chat. So yes, I've already got the today's topics on screen, so you can see what I have kind of loosely planned for the day. I'll be here probably for 2 hours. Less if we run out of things to say, and more if you keep having questions, and I'll just keep on going. So yeah, that's the plan. And before I get into the chat, let us go right to... Did that work? Thank you, Jolene, so much for a super chat. Much appreciated. And you say, let's get started with a bang. Thank you for your time. No problem at all. I enjoy this. This is fun. It kind of brings me out of my shell a little bit, and it kind of lets me connect with some of you who are watching my videos on a weekly basis. So yeah, it's fun. So yeah, let's get right into this. Oh yeah, let's quickly go through the chat, just see what we've got here. So yeah, just so you know, we're going to go through Q&A with the chat. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them right now. I'll try to limit that to 30 minutes or less. Could be much less if there's not many questions. Then we'll just quickly review the videos that I released since last Tuesday. There were 3 of them. And also what's coming up in terms of videos that I'm working on. Then a little bit of Camtasia clarification for 2025. So last week's live stream, I talked a little bit about the future of Camtasia and what's coming next, even though 2024 just dropped like 2-3 weeks ago. They're already in the planning stages of what's coming up next. And then just a couple little questions that I've got written down, questions that came in from you guys throughout the week. Some people or someone had problem launching Camtasia 2024. Want to talk about the canvas size, color grading multiple clips, and also how to make a reel or a short. So yeah, that's kind of the tentative plan. So let me just quickly go through here. Jolene from My Keto Journey is all the way from hot Phoenix, Arizona. Hello, Jolene, and thanks again for the super chat. Much appreciated. And yes, I feel bad for you guys down in the States this past week. You guys have been dealing with a lot of hot weather. Maybe not everywhere in the States, but it's kind of moving this way. We had a mini heat wave here in Nova Scotia, but I just did a conversion. I think down in Arizona, you guys are up north of 110 degrees Fahrenheit, which is crazy. Here, the last few days, it got up to 32 degrees Celsius. So I converted that. That's 90. So for here, that's hot. I think the record for the Halifax area might be around 95 Fahrenheit or 35 Celsius. So we're moderated a little bit by the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. And certainly not a desert climate here like you have in Phoenix. That's crazy, the numbers you guys have been getting. Pamela Powers, hello, Pam. Welcome back from the cool little part of California. Very good. I believe you're in the San Francisco area, which is a beautiful spot as well. James Ryan from Green Acres, aka Decatur, Illinois. I hope I said that right. I think we went through this before. Welcome. Thanks for stopping in. Tech for Senior from Comox, BC. Great videos this week. Awesome. Glad you liked them. Yeah, two of them were very similar. Oh, it's warm here. See what I'm saying? It's not even, I don't know, it's probably not even 80 degrees Fahrenheit here, and I'm warm. I don't know if the AC is on. But yeah, glad you liked the videos this week. And welcome, Ohio. Very good. And Sybil Morgan. Hello, Sybil. Thanks for stopping in. Hello from hot and humid St. Louis, Missouri. Yeah, you're also, I guess, in that heat wave. Generally speaking, we tend to get the weather that comes west, right? Or sorry, it comes from the west. So let's say whatever Boston gets, we'll get in the next day or two later, typically. Or Toronto. And Gary Christensen. Hello, Gary, from Plymouth, Massachusetts. Awesome, very good. And yes, you can hear me. That's awesome. Frank, hello from a secret lair in Calgary, Alberta. Very good. Edmonton was so close last night. So close. For any of you hockey fans out there, I am a hockey fan. I'm from Canada. I have to be. At this point, we were going for any Canadian team, since it's been 30 years since a Canadian team has won the Stanley Cup. But not to be. Congratulations to Florida, Sunrise, Florida, for winning the Stanley Cup last night in a Game 7. Thrilling game, 2-1. Wow. Gary says, sounds great. Uterp Lab, hello from North Italy. Sunny days at last. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Yeah, we are now officially in summer, aren't we? In the Northern Hemisphere. Sometimes we have people here from Australia watching, so I guess it's getting cooler down there. Skunk Eye Music, hello from the UK. Hello. Welcome. James Ryan says, hi, Rob. Hello, James. We've got Frank. Frank has our first question. All right, here we go. With your live stream into view, is it a looped video or is it a certain length? Live stream, I believe that was supposed to be intro video. The intro video is a video that I made in Camtasia, is what it is. If I can quickly, just so you can see how I do this, let me show it to you. Let me share the screen. Here is Camtasia 2024, and this is the video that I made. So, and I don't know where I found this ocean graphic, quite honestly, probably Motion Array, but I did it several months ago. So I found that, and then it's not long enough. So actually, I don't know if you guys noticed or not. If you arrived early, you probably did. Typically before this week, I had this intro video running for 2 minutes. And this week I decided, let's make it run for 5 minutes. Let me know what you think. What's better? In my mind, I was thinking, well, initially I made it 2 minutes, thinking that anything longer than that, if you come into a live stream expecting to see something right away and you still see like 4 minutes to go before I even start, I might lose you. So that's why I made it as short as 2 minutes. And I've done that for several weeks now, 10 or more probably. But this week I thought I'd change it up. I thought, well, let's make it 5 minutes, see how that works, and maybe we'll get even more people joining right off the bat. So anyways, we'll see how it worked. But yeah, so literally half an hour ago, I was in this Camtasia project file, and I updated this to 5 minutes. So all I had to do, so it only ran here to 2 minutes. I copied some of these and I pasted more. I fade it. So because it's too short, if I zoom right in, you can see here, it's a light fade. If I didn't have that fade, you would see that it kind of jerks like that. It jumps, okay? Because it's obviously the camera is moving while filming this ocean scene. Oh, what did I do? I don't know. So Control Z undid it. Yeah, so let's Control Z to undo deleting that fade. You bring that back. Yeah, so that's that, and I've got music here. The music wasn't long enough, so again, not sure if anybody noticed, but at about the 2-minute mark, there was a jump in the music. It kind of started over. I was running out of time, so I didn't spend too much time making sure that the syncing of the music was like a perfect, like I could have blended one into the other and whatnot, but didn't spend too much time on that. And then I've got the starting soon. I've got a behavior added to that, so it comes from the bottom, goes away, and then I've got the 2 logos, and then this masked image here. So, yep, made it in Camtasia, and then put it into my Ecamm Live, and then turned it into a scene that I linked to my Stream Deck. That's how that works. So, as the counter is counting down, I see it counting down, I press the me button, which is the camera, as it hits 0, and then it switches to me. And fingers crossed, hopefully it all worked, and I always confirm with you guys if the audio made it or not. I have the audio set to mute during the intro video because I don't think you guys want to hear me just breathing in the background or my cat or whatever. So that's how that works. And Greg says, "Hi Rob, just flew into Dallas for a meeting, but I'm stopping to watch your class." All right, Greg. Hope I don't make you late for anything. Very good. Thanks for stopping in, Greg. And Gary, thanks for doing this. No problem. Like I said, I enjoy this. It's fun. It's something that kind of breaks up the week too. Gives me something different to do. Frank says, "So close." Not sure what that means. Is it a certain length? So close. See, that's the problem I have when I these messages come in like chronologically, so I'm not exactly sure what you were referring to there. Oh, it's a nice video, sets the tone, plus seagulls. Yes, seagulls. I even have more seagulls if you want them. Did that work? Yes, it did. Got a little button here for seagulls. And no, I did not record that outside. I could well have. There's lots of seagulls outside here. But that's a sound effect from Motion Array as well. Let's see, what else we got here? Tech for Seniors says, "What is the difference between locking a track and turning it off, hidden?" Good question. Okay, I can show you that real quick. Let me share my screen. So what you're referring to are these things, you can see this? Yeah. These things over here, and actually you can only see 2 icons for each track because I have my tracks smaller. This icon here is like a global track height adjuster. So if I click and drag this up, I'll make them all taller. Okay, and you can see there are 3 icons here. You have the lock track here, the magnetic track, the magnetic icon, and the hide icon. Okay, so the difference is if you press hide, that will hide or silence anything on that track for the purposes of playing through the video, and if you don't want that. So for example, if I wanted to just listen to let's say I had music and audio. Actually, let me show you this one right here. Because this has music and audio. Oh, what did I do here?
My weekly live stream that's all.
Oh, I'm not sure why that is not showing all of it. Anyway, sorry. So let me just adjust this again. This is the trailer I made for today's live stream, by the way. So if I hit this hide track, it silences or hides anything in there. Now this track is voice only, just audio, so there's nothing to hide, but it will silence the audio. So if I press play now, it silenced my audio. That was the voiceover track, but you can hear the music. Same thing, if you hide the music, silence the music, you can press play.
From getting the best screen recordings.
So it's a way to help you with editing. So let's say, for instance, let's say I needed to marry up 2 pieces of music, like I mentioned in the previous job, or the previous project, where the background music wasn't long enough and I needed to stitch some more music to the end, if I wanted to really dial in that to make sure like the beats all match up, I would probably want to hide the voiceover audio so I can just concentrate only on the music. Okay, so that's one reason to do that. Another reason is if you have a whole lot of things going on visually on the screen and you want to hide something so that you're only working on, let's say you're working on a logo animation, but you don't want the underlying video to affect or to, I guess, confuse you when you're working on that. You can hide that, okay? So here you can hide the actual visual. In this video, there's only the one visual, right? Or you can hide these. Now, so sorry, this is a long-winded answer. The lock track, or sorry, the lock icon here, if we lock something, now for example, it prevents me from accidentally editing anything on that track. Okay, so you would only really want to lock something if you want to protect it. All right, so let's say, for instance, I want to, here's a good one. So let's say I need to cut out a section of this video. I want to cut it out here to here. Okay, if I go, hide, split here, and then split there, and then I can delete all these. Well, I'm going to be messing up the music, okay? Like if I deleted that and then pulled all this back, right? Now the music is all kind of messed up.
And I do.
Okay, so one way for me to guard against that is I could lock this track. And now if I go to basically highlight everything, notice how the bottom track does not get highlighted. It can't be split or anything like that, okay? So the lock is a way of protecting a track. Does that answer your question? I hope. If not, let me know. But let me just say one other thing about the hide icon. This isn't very well documented, and I only found out about this, I'm going to say a few months ago. But if you hold the Option key down, or Alt on a PC, while you click that, it does the reverse. Okay, so watch this. It basically hides everything else except that. So it's a way to solo a track. Hold the Option or Alt key and then press basically that's supposed to be an eyeball icon, and that will solo that track. Okay, so just another neat trick. I actually use that fairly often. So instead of, say, hiding these two tracks, if I just want to work on the music, right, another way to do that is to hold the Option key and solo the track like that. Okay, so there you go. Hopefully that helped. And now Bent. Hello, Bent. Welcome to the live stream. Animating lines. I miss the ability to create Bezier shapes, straight lines, any angle, curved, animate them without and hassle at all from left, right, up, down. Why isn't it in Camtasia, you think? Animating lines. Everything. So I miss the ability. You miss the ability to create Bezier shapes. Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like you want more options when it comes to annotations. Is that correct? And the ability to animate them. I mean, that's certainly something that you can request of them, of Camtasia, and they could add them. But basically, what Camtasia has as far as annotations go, if I were to share my screen again, are basic shapes. I usually leave the style to all, but if I go to the shapes one, there are all kinds of shapes here. And they are increasingly adding more ways to edit these shapes. But yeah, so you're talking about you'd like more complicated shapes, I guess, added. If you want to do that, I guess you can combine shapes, right, to create additional shapes, if you will, and then you can save them. So like if I make a shape here, let's say I've got I don't know, just building, let's say a little wagon here with something on the top here. I can, here, let's put them all back. Let's make my My track size is smaller. Let's highlight all these. Let's group them. Okay, and then we can go up here, and we can group properties. We can set the visible properties of this group. We can animate this thing as a whole. Let's just ungroup this for now, because you can call this its own shape as well. Up here, if you go plus, and then let's see here, what are we doing? No, maybe you can't do that. Anyways, my point is you can combine a whole bunch of shapes to make complex shapes and then kind of animate them all together. So like if we did group all these, right, and move them, we can add behaviors to them, animations, like a custom animation, make it go over there.
I do so by demonstrating while...
Right, just something simple like that. But my advice to you, if you're looking for more complex things like different angles, Bezier shapes, well, the animation, there's two ways to animate things. You can use the animation arrows like I just did. Actually, three ways. You can then use motion path, which is the second way, and then you can use behaviors. So those are the three different ways you can use animations right now in Camtasia. But if I wanted to make an object or a graphic that's more complex, I would go outside of Camtasia, because Camtasia isn't really a, I mean, its primary purpose is not to make complicated graphics. It's basically to put things together into a video and to record your screen. So I would go outside of Camtasia and I would use something like Canva is what I would use. Yeah, or if you're more familiar with Photoshop, or there's other ones that I'm not as familiar with. But yeah, so that, but if it's something you'd like to see in Camtasia, I know they love to hear from their customers. So you could put it in as a feature request and they will add it to the list. And I think the more times things get asked for, it bumps it up the list of the next things that they will add to the program. So they build it basically how we want it, if that makes sense to you. But yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea to have more complicated shapes, the ability to add and customize more complicated shapes. Absolutely. Okay, so hopefully that kind of helps. Brent O'Pry from New Orleans. Hello, Brent. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. I was in New Orleans in November of last year for a football game to see my beloved Detroit Lions. Beautiful city. Fun city. The game. So, oh, of course, yes. So my mind, my mind quickly I'm easily distracted and easily I forget what I was talking about. But yes, the game last night was very close. Very, very close. Tech for Seniors says, question, do cuts affect a hidden track? You cannot cut anything on a hidden track. Hidden track. Oh, good question. Sorry, I was thinking lock. Let me go back to this. So a hidden track. So let's say that is hidden right there. And if I highlight all these and press S to split, no, that did not get cut. Okay, so not only does that remove it from view, okay, pressing this here, it also protects it. Okay, so that's a good point. But if we hit the lock, if you hit the lock icon, it's protected, but it's not hidden from view. Okay, I guess there's another difference, another way to look at that. Okay, very good. Hope that helped. And oh, Bent says, I have requested them multiple times. Awesome. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. They don't mind. Ben says, yes, more complicated shapes. Combined shapes is just a stupid workaround. Okay, very good. Yes, it is definitely a workaround. I guess it's what you get used to. I wouldn't say I combine shapes as often as I would go to Canva to create whatever it is I want first. That would be my typical way of doing it. But it is just another workaround, another option. I go outside of Camtasia all the time. Too bad if you ask me. Okay, very good. Sorry, no problem at all. And you don't have to shut up now. No problem at all. You can voice your displeasures with anything about Camtasia here. That's no problem. It's an open forum. So let me know what you like and what you dislike about it. Either way, I'm good. Square Egg says, sorry I'm late. Hello from Yorkshire, England. Hello, Yorkshire, England. Thank you for stopping in again. Good to see you. All righty. Okay, so what do we got now? 2:27. How's that for getting through the Q&A in under 30 minutes? I think that's pretty good. Right on schedule. Okay, now, what's next? What are we going to talk about next? Latest video. Let me just bring this down here. We did the Q&A. Latest videos. So, this past week I had 3, and a week ago, so as I was doing this live stream, I didn't know what videos, I didn't have any videos ready. So last Tuesday night, I created the recorded cursor editing video, which was similar to one I had done before, how to edit the cursor, but this took you through a specific tutorial video that I had created and how to clean up the cursor, make it less jumpy. Now, when I'm making a tutorial video, I always make sure, because you have not been able to edit the cursor forever. I think 2022 version is when that came in. Before that, I always just made sure I didn't move the cursor very much when I was recording. And furthermore, when I have to record in steps, so for example, if something is longer then I can remember what to do. Remember, I'm talking about doing videos for clients. Okay, so I'm typically recording screens of software or websites that I'm not that familiar with. Okay, so if it's a tutorial video that is 5 minutes long, say, and there's a whole bunch of steps, I will write notes down first so that I can follow them along. But I typically won't record it all in one go. I'll typically do it in stages. More often than not, I'll try to find like a natural breakpoint where I'll stop, and then I'll put that track in place and start editing it, and then I'll add then I'll do the next one, and so on. So my point is, I got very used to being careful what I did with the cursor. Okay, so for example, if I'm recording, let's say I'm recording how to logging into a website. So the cursor, just imagine this: the cursor will go up. It'll click on the username box, and then I'll have to type in a username, which often is supplied by the client, or maybe it's a dummy username, whatever. And then I'll have to move the cursor down to the password. I'll type in the password, and so on. So what typically happens to me is I can type the password very quickly, but then it takes me a few seconds to move my hand off of the keyboard to the mouse, and then to carefully move it down, so that it's like a smooth motion, and then I can type the password quickly. So that's just kind of describes what happens fast, what happens slow, whatever. Basically, my point is I can type much faster than I can move a cursor slowly. So because of that, I got used to typing slowly when I'm recording. So I'll move the mouse. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to speed all of this up maybe 2 times. So let's just move it slowly, and then let's type the password in slowly, right? And kind of uniformly, not like click, 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 click. You know what I mean? Like the way I normally type, I might type some letters really quickly together and then some more spaced out. I try to do it fairly uniformly so that when I speed it up, it still looks smooth, okay? So I got very used to doing that, but now, of course, you can change your cursor as long as, and this is something that I wrote down that I wanted to make sure I touched on. I know I believe I mentioned it in the video, but everything, all of that cursor editing that I do in that video, the one that was released last Wednesday, you can only do that if you've used Camtasia's screen recorder to capture the screen, okay? And that is because Camtasia's screen recorder captures the cursor movements separate from the screen. Okay, so it's two different sets of data. It's not taking a video of your screen which captures the cursor right on the screen. That's how OBS does it. That's how Ecamm Live does it. If you used any of those programs to record your or capture your screen, which I do sometimes. In fact, usually for these Camtasia videos that I make for YouTube, I'll use OBS to capture my screen because I'm capturing Camtasia. I don't want to use Camtasia to capture Camtasia, and I think I've mentioned this before. It just gets a little confusing, and where's the recording going to get saved? Is it the wrong file? I've got 2 files open now to do that, and I know it can be done on a Mac. I don't believe it can be done on a PC, or it never used to be able to. Maybe you can now. But anyways, it just simplifies things. So that's the only reason I use OBS to capture my screen when I make my Camtasia YouTube videos. But when I make videos for clients, tutorial videos, training videos, I use Camtasia's recorder because I want to manipulate that cursor afterwards, change the size. And I love the new scaling effect, the left and right click scaling effect, so that the cursor kind of depresses, the depression is animated. Anyways, I love that. Yes, that video. So you got to use the Camtasia screen recorder in order to take advantage of everything I showed you in that video last Wednesday. Okay, and again, if you have any questions about any of this, feel free to let me know, and I will stop at a natural break point and answer the questions. Let's move on to the next one. Oh, Frank just said, a clarification here. You can capture Camtasia on Camtasia through a virtual machine, but it does require setting up and installing everything. Yeah. I figured there was a workaround on the Windows side. And again, on the Mac side, it's not as big a deal because you can have 2 different projects open at the same time, like I do right now. You see, this project here is the trailer that I made, right, for this video, this live stream today. Sorry, when I'm doing something, my talking slows down. And this is another project I have open, which was, let's just fit that there, which was the intro. Okay, so 2 separate projects are open on the Mac. I don't believe you can do that on Windows yet. But again, maybe with a virtual machine, like you're saying, that would be a way around that. And technically speaking, that's just a little bit beyond me. I would probably have to get my son involved to help me with that. But yeah, there you go. Good to know though that it can be done. So yes, okay. So the next video was Friday, and I made actually the next 2 videos. So insert screen recordings and replace part of recording. I did them the same day. So I made them both on Friday. And then one came out Friday and one came out yesterday. Okay, so insert screen recording. I had been asked to show how to replay or how to insert screen recordings after you've already done the voiceover. Okay, that may not be how you typically make recordings in Camtasia, but it is how I do it. I typically lay down a voiceover track. I record my voice first, and then I lay that, sorry, not all the time. It really depends on the type of video you're making. This is the difficulty I get into when I try to put everything kind of into one box. There's no one right way to use Camtasia, and there's no one way that I use it either. So depending on what I want to do, I'll do it different ways. If I'm making a training video, okay, for a client or for whatever, without my face in it, so there's no video, it's just a training video with voiceover, okay, then I do it separately. Unless it's super simple. If it's super simple, then I could probably talk my way through it as I'm capturing the screens. But typically, to me, that's like trying to do 2 things well at once. The voiceover and the screen capturing, the screen recording. So I like to focus on only one of those things at a time. And it's usually I will focus on the voiceover first. I'll record my voice. I will get rid of all the mistakes, right? If I messed up, if I tripped over a word or something, I'll just keep the recording going. But then when I'm finished recording everything, I'll chop out the mistakes and the ums and the ahs, get rid of all those, and then I'll process the sound, get it sounding really good. Then I open up Camtasia, I bring that into Camtasia, the voiceover track is down. Now I want to lay the screen recordings on top of that. Okay, that is my typical process for making training or tutorial videos. And that is what that insert screen recordings video was all about, how to do that and how to make sure things sync up. If you haven't watched that yet, give you a hint, or the secret basically is clip speed. The clip speed function in Camtasia, I use that basically on every single clip, the screen recording, to get it to match the voiceover. But it's not only the clip speed, sometimes I have to modify the voice as well. And sorry, I'm just going to my projects here. Let me just pull this up so I can show you. So this will be a third project, Camtasia project open. There we go. Took a while to open. Hopefully I'm not stressing my computer out too much. There we go. So this is, this may not be what I wanted to show, but this is the video that I made. Okay, this is my project file for the video that I uploaded on Friday, and it kind of showed how to do that. So, but no, I don't want to show you that. Now let's really stress things out. I'm going to go to the sample project, and we'll go. No, I didn't want to open that. Right click, open with Camtasia 2024. That's something else I'm going to mention in a second. Anybody else have problems launching Camtasia 2024 and instead they're launching Camtasia or trying to launch Camtasia 2023? I'm in that boat right now, and there's a simple fix. But I'll go over that in a second. So anyway, you couldn't see what I was doing anyways. Here we go. Here is the sample project file from the last Friday's video. So as you can see, if you look at this track here, all of this here, that's the screen recording for a fairly simple tutorial video on basically how to reset your password. Okay, but see all the different cuts, right? And all the clip speeds. That one's 1.52. That one's 1.47. That clip speed's 1.2 something. 2.2, so that's sped up more. So yeah, so if you want to know why I did that, how I did that, check out that video that I did on Friday. It'll walk you through that entire process. Okay. And let me just get caught up here. Oh, Brian Pajak. Hello, Brian. Thanks for the question. You cannot do this on Windows, but I sure wish you could. Can you drag and drop from one project to another? Yes, and that's awesome. So 100% you can. And I just did that this morning. So again, if I share my screen, so this project here, that's just a little glitch. I usually have to hit fit there to bring that back in. So with this project, and then with, say, this project here, again, let's fit that and scroll it down a little bit. So let's say this little thing that I created in this project is now highlighted. Control C, right, or Command C. Let's come over here, Control V. There it is. It's a much shorter video, but yeah, easily, and it brings everything into your media bin as well. Well, actually, those are annotations, so they're not going to be shown there, right? But yep, you can. Whoops. So very handy. And yeah, I remember wishing that I could do that when I used Camtasia on Windows as well. That would be very, very handy. So I guess the answer for you then is to get a Mac. Just kidding. But it would solve that problem because you can do it on a Mac. Sachin BS, hi sir, from India. Hello. Welcome all the way from India. The way you're teaching Camtasia is really awesome. I like the way you're using shortcuts in editing, saving your Camtasia playlist and watching all the time and improved skills. Big thank you. No problem. And thanks for the feedback. I'm glad you liked them. Like the videos and my style, I guess. I guess that's kind of the point of all this. I just want to help people learn Camtasia. And again, I don't consider myself an expert in Camtasia, but I know enough. I've used it a long time. But there are things that I don't do as efficiently as possible. Sometimes it's because I've just gotten so used to the way I do things, the way I'm used to doing things. And other times, quite honestly, it's because I may not even know that there's a better way to do something. So that's why I love input from you guys to point things out to me. I've already learned a lot from doing these live streams. I know a lot more about Camtasia today than I did 3 months ago, right? And a lot of it's because of what you guys point out to me. You steer me in the right direction, and then I learn as well. So it's about helping each other out, I suppose. And Brian says that is a huge quality of life feature. Right now, I need to save things I want to Right now, I need to save things I want to a library, close my project, open the other project, then paste from library. We need parity on this feature. I would agree. I'm not sure why you can't do that in Windows. I'm sure there's a reason, or they would have that ability. But yeah, that would be. I wonder if the new Camtasia Web will solve that. I'm not sure if you're. So if you watched last week's live stream, I kind of reviewed. It was the future. So there was a meeting or a webinar that I attended that Camtasia hosted, and they showed us a whole bunch of new things that they're working on for future versions of Camtasia. Most of them won't be in the next version, but I think some will. I know some will, is what they've told me. But one of the things that they're working on is Camtasia Web, which means a version of Camtasia that runs in a browser that will allow you to collaborate with team members. So you can have multiple people signed into a project and each be editing a different part of it, or you can kind of hand it off to somebody else and they can edit it. You can download it from the Camtasia Web. So I'm wondering if you'd be able to use that to copy something from your, the Windows version of Camtasia you're using, copy and then paste it into Camtasia Web and then paste it back to another project. I don't know. That would be cool if you could. But yeah, that's. I don't believe Camtasia Web will. Oh, I don't remember. It might be in 2025, but I'm not too sure. 2025 is, incidentally, if for those who don't know, is the next version of Camtasia, which is not going to be waiting until June of next year to come out. It's going to come out in October of this year. Okay, so this 2024 version that just came out is only. It's only going to be current for the next several months. This is like it's like a window time period between their perpetual license model and subscription model that they're moving to. Okay, so we're kind of in between those two things. And so right now, between now and October, they're allowing people to upgrade. Like if you're still using an older version of Camtasia and you want to get current, and you don't want to have to pay what's going to be higher annual subscription fees, it's going to be higher than what the annual maintenance fee is right now, then I strongly suggest you upgrade current now if you're on a perpetual license, because upgrading in the future will mean you have to go subscription, if that makes sense. So I've been talking about that the last few weeks, but if there's any confusion over that, please let me know and I'll try to clarify. Software Maniac says, get a Mac. Yeah, that would solve that problem for sure. LinkedIn Learning has used Camtasia from the start. Most people don't know that. LinkedIn Learning, okay. I was not aware of that. Very good. Camtasia's been around a long time. TechSmith as a company has been around since the 90s. But Camtasia itself, I think, not sure exactly when it started, but I've been using it. I'm going to say it's got to be close to 15 years, over 10 anyways. So I've seen a lot of changes. But again, that I get used to doing things a certain way, even though there might be. So I mean, there was a year that I was kind of offline. I wasn't making videos, and I wasn't as involved in the new features coming out in Camtasia. So it took me some time to kind of get caught up. And there's still some things, I'm sure, that I don't use as best as I could at the moment. Okay, so, and the next latest video is basically kind of a continuation of the other one. So the video replaced part of recording. Call it a clarification video or kind of the next step. So you've gone through the entire process to create a video with screen recordings. You've got everything matched up perfectly. The timing is awesome. But let's say now, and you did this for a client, let's say the client comes back to you and says, you need to change from, 1 minute and 2 seconds until 1 minute and 32 seconds. Right in there, our website has changed. So I need you to change that section of your screen recording. That section may not line up with a specific section that you took before of a screen recording, right? So you'll have to re-record something and then insert it into the old project. So what I suggest when you have to do that, when you have to, and I go through this in the video, so I won't spend too much time on this right now because you can watch the video that I posted yesterday. But basically, whenever you have to do a revision like that, whether it's for somebody else or even for yourself, I strongly recommend you open the project file, and then save it as something else, like append an underscore version 2 or revision 1 or revision 2 or whatever at the end of the file, at the end of the project file, okay? So now you'll have 2 copies of your project file. It does take up more storage space. I agree with that, but if that's not a concern, then it helps keep you organized. So now you're working on the version 2 copy, and if you so let's say you make a whole bunch of changes to something and you resend the file back to your client. Let's say the client then comes back to you and says, you know what? I liked the way you had it before. Can you go back and send me an updated version of the one you had before? Well, if you didn't save a new copy of the project file and you've made a whole bunch of edits to it, you may not have it anymore. You'll have to redo all the edits again, right? So that's just an example. And I've run into that before. You learn from your mistakes, right? So so keep that in mind. I strongly recommend do that. Then go ahead and make your changes on the new file. And then when you export it, add that new file name extension to it, like add a, revision 1, revision 2, or whatever, to the new file name, just so that you know what you're sending the client or what you're using yourself. Okay, it will help the quality of life when it comes to making changes down the road. So there you go. Scott Dill says, while listening to the stream, I just installed Camtasia 2022, 23, and 24, and can load each one on my PC at the same time. I didn't know I could do that. Not sure of any practical use for this. Yes, you can do that. And actually, that brings me to, we will skip, if you look at my list right here, problem launching 2024, that's kind of what I was going to address right there. Same thing on a Mac. You can have both versions. I still have Camtasia 2023 and 2024 on my Mac. I don't have 2022 anymore. So practical uses. If you created a file or a project in an older version, 2022, say, then let's say you opened it up in a newer version, you'll be prompted to save this newer version. It has to convert it to the new version, right? If you then save it from the new version, you can't go back and open it up with an older version anymore. Okay, so keep that in mind. And I noticed in Camtasia 2024, when you on a Mac anyways, when you save it a file that's been converted, it automatically adds a converted, that text, to the front of your file name. You can change it and put something else there if you want, but that automatically gets added so that you know it's been converted. I would like it to say converted 2024 or something like that, or CON 2024. That way I know. But back to your question, practical uses. Let's say you are working on a big job, okay? You're for a client, for yourself, whatever, and you've started it in version 2023, and let's say you're not finished with it yet, but 2024 has come out. You may not want to convert that new one to 2024. For example, let's say there's a bug in 2024 for a specific effect that you use in your project. And you can't use it in 2024 yet. They could be working on the bug, and I'm sure it would be updated as soon as the bug is fixed. But in the meantime, you may want to keep using 2023 to finish that project. So that's what I typically do. If I'm in the middle of something, I won't start something new in the latest version. Sorry, I won't upgrade a project that I'm in the middle of working on to 2024. Right? I'll probably finish it in 2023 and just save it that way. I could always open it up in 2024 and see if it works. It'll save it as converted to or whatever. But I would want to keep the 2023 version as well. Okay, so that's a good reason for keeping at least two versions, the latest and greatest, and then the last one. I don't necessarily see a reason to have three versions like 2022. Because as far as I'm aware, they haven't removed anything from 2022. Like there's nothing you can do in 2022 that you can't also do in 2023 or 2024. They keep adding things that you can do. They don't take away things generally. Let me know if I'm wrong on that, but that's my belief. So yeah, current version and one version before. At some point, maybe in the next month or two, I may get rid of 2023. There may not be a reason to keep it around. Actually, I'll tell you, along these lines, there is a reason why you can actually have them both open at the same time, like you told me. But one of the new things you can do in 2024 is you can rearrange your left menu, the tabs, right? You know, favorites, media, annotations, and all those things. You can rearrange them. Okay, so what I've done, I've rearranged them. I've made a video on how to rearrange them and whatnot. But before I made my last video, I wanted to make sure that all those were kind of back to the way they normally are. Okay, the order. So how do I do that? I opened up Camtasia 2023, I saw what the order was, and I rearranged mine so they were back in that order. Because whatever you rearrange them to, that new order will be remembered. You know, you close Camtasia, when you open it back up again, that new order is remembered for you. Okay, so just a small thing. It's probably not a big deal if I do have a slightly different order of things. No one has yet said to me, you know, how come your tabs are out of order? I suppose it would be, you know, a prompt for me to answer a question. That's not a bad thing either. But yeah, so that's what I did recently, and I needed Camtasia 2023 to remind me. I suppose I could have looked back at an old video too. But yeah, that's what I did. So yeah, practical use. Again, it's just basically if there's a problem, it's good to keep the latest known stable version of software when you're testing out something brand new. So 2024 is brand new. There's still a couple. There's two things that I'm aware of that I know they're working on. Like for instance, the background removal. I had a slight issue with that, where working in 2024, the background removal effect that I applied to myself, that I usually do in a lot of my videos, when the video was longer, that effect stopped working. Okay, and a customer actually pointed that out to me, that, hey, there's something wrong with your video. This was last week. And I had to quickly delete the video I uploaded, fixed it. I put myself in a circle mask instead and re-upload it. I think maybe 30 people had seen the video before I had to delete it. I didn't want that because the background removal worked for 10 minutes and then it stopped working. So I've submitted a ticket on that, and it's something that they're aware of and working on. So for something like that, I probably could have gone back to 2023. Well, no, I had made that in 2024. So that was my option, was to kind of use a different effect to solve that one. So anyways, not a bad thing to keep 2 versions of the software, but I don't think you need 3. And, oh, here we go. Thank you, William, for the super chat. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. And with that comes a question. Will they have motion tracking in Camtasia 2025? I don't think so. No, that is something they're working on, and my understanding is that's one of the things that they're still in the early stages of testing. So motion tracking, I don't think is coming in 2025. But keep in mind that the way TechSmith is going to be releasing new features is going to be much different. Basically, from now on, is going to be much different than it has been in the past. In the past, they saved them all up and they released a whole bunch of new things, typically in June, right, of whatever year. And they called it, Camtasia 2024, a whole bunch of new features. And that's the way they've done it. But now, with the move to the move to the subscription model, as new features are ready, they will roll them out. So if it's not going to be part of Camtasia 2025 in October, maybe they add it in December. Maybe they add it in January, and it still may be called 2025, right? So I don't know what their naming convention is going to be in the future. But so with 2025, maybe it's going to be the fall now when they change it to 2025. Maybe they're going to stop using the year altogether, and they may just call it a version or something, right? Like some other software companies do. So I'm not too sure. And yeah, you say, I don't understand. Everybody else has motion tracking. LOL. Yeah. They do. Keep in mind, I guess, in terms of understanding it, it's probably just because Camtasia was never a video editor first. It's morphed into a video editor, but it's always been a screen recording app first. Okay, and in time they've added all kinds of video editing features, and starting with the simple ones, and then getting increasingly more complex as they go. So motion tracking is a little on the more complex side. And quite honestly, they're probably working on, like from what I saw, they've got it working. They're probably trying to figure out how do we make this available to everybody who loves Camtasia, but at the same time, make it very simple to use. Okay, so they're probably working on that. So user interface stuff, just making it super easy, if you will. So I don't think their intention is to become, a competitor of Premiere Pro, like on the same level, be able to do all the same stuff, or a DaVinci Resolve, or Final Cut Pro. Those are the 3 that I think of when I think of like the big 3 video editing software. You can do a lot with all of those, but they're very hard to learn and very complicated. I think so. I mean, maybe that's just me, but I find Camtasia a whole lot easier to learn. And quite honestly, like if you ever have some free time, do yourself a favor and download DaVinci Resolve, just the free version, and start playing around with trying to get things to move on the screen. It is a nightmare. It's what I find. It's so hard. I mean, yeah, it handles frame rates and things like that, like film and color grading and those sorts of things very well. It's high end. But just to get a simple circle to move across the screen is very hard. You've got to do it with keyframes, or you jump into their Fusion tab. It just gets so complicated. Whereas in Camtasia, drop an animation arrow on it and move it. It's just so simple. And maybe it's because I've been using Camtasia for so long, and it's just the way I've gotten used to it. I suppose if you started with video editing with one of those softwares and you're used to keyframing and things like that, you get more used to it. But yeah, that's my take on it. I don't think Camtasia wants to become a very hard piece of software to learn. So they're probably wrestling with, how do we add something that's kind of complicated, but at the same time make it simple to use? That would be my thought process, anyways, if I was on the team. And hello, Jonathan. Hello, welcome. Like motion tracking, the Descript tool, much like Audiate, has pupil movement adjustment to reduce the eye movement when reading a teleprompter. This would be a nice drop-in effect in Camtasia. Okay. Descript? I'm wondering if you meant Descript, as in Descript. I'm familiar with that. Not the current version of it, but yeah. So pupil movement adjustment. So that would be AI, I believe. And I would say, it says Descript. Yes. Okay. I don't currently use Descript. I have. I believe I was a paying subscriber to Descript for over a year. I only stopped it, maybe 6 months ago or so, but I used it for the transcription features that it has. And I believe they're moving more and more towards video editing. But I can't really help too much with that. But as far as following pupils, yeah, so you said yes, AI. So that'd be like an AI thing. I can tell you that the people at Camtasia are investing heavily into AI in terms of working on all kinds of things AI related. So whether it's avatars, custom avatars. So again, if you missed last week's live stream that I did, I played an introduction by the CEO of TechSmith, Wendy Hamilton. She started with like a 5-minute speech, and then partway through the speech, she said, "This isn't really me, and I've never spoken these words." So it was an AI generated version of her, right? It sounded like her, looked like her. Now it wasn't perfect. So, I mean, if you weren't looking for it to be AI and you thought it was her and you were just kind of listening and maybe not paying close attention, she probably could have got away with it, right? And you wouldn't have known any different. But she said, this is AI, this is not me. And then you can look and then you can tell. Excuse me. But yeah, my point is they're working on ways. So I believe in Camtasia 2025 in the fall, when that comes out, you will have the ability to add real live AI avatars to your videos, and then assign audio to them, right? Like drop in a transcript and have a person speak it, and you can pick the person, gender, race, age, like whatever. There's going to be a library of people you can choose, and languages, and I think even accents, things like that. You're going to be able to choose all that and have an AI person in your videos. Well, the next step of that is going to be, and this is not going to be in 2025. What I'm about to say is in the future. You're going to be able to put yourself, an AI version of yourself, in videos. And then in time, they're just going to get better and better. So the analogy she used was, imagine you made a video, okay, and you're in it and you're talking, and you actually did it. It wasn't AI, it was you. But then maybe you need to make a change to that video. But maybe now you have a cold and you can't use your voice. Well, there's going to be a way to basically have Camtasia learn what you look like and what what you sound like, and stitch in a new part that says something different. Okay, you'll be able to do edits like that. That's what they're working towards. Okay, again, not going to be available this fall. This fall is just going to be basically AI actors, not real people at all. But you're not going to be able to make them look like you, or you're not going to be able to customize them. But to a certain extent, you can. But yes, so that's that. That is that. William says, Jonathan, you're so on point. I have NVIDIA Broadcast, and I use that feature, and I can read from my other monitor, and it keeps my eyes focused to the camera, and it makes it look semi-realistic. Awesome. NVIDIA, what is it called again? NVIDIA Broadcast. I've never used that. I might give that a try. As some of you may know, so when I'm doing a voiceover, I have my script here on this monitor. I have my script here, and my camera is here. So it would be obvious if I'm reading. But again, I'm talking about when I do a voiceover, so it doesn't matter what I'm looking at. But when I'm doing a video, so the trailer that I just did, well, I'll show you. Wait, now. Back to my phone. So this here, you can tell, is or maybe you can tell, it's a teleprompter that I have hanging off of my camera lens, and I put my phone on that, and then I'm looking right at the camera and reading my script. Okay, so that's how I do it. But yeah, this NVIDIA Broadcast, I might check that out. I mean, with that, I wouldn't need a teleprompter at all. That would simplify things. I already have the teleprompter, but for those of you who don't, that might be worthwhile for sure. That will be a great added feature for Camtasia, but the system works with Camtasia great. But the system works. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything here. So the pupil movement adjustment. Yeah, so I'm not sure if that's something. They didn't talk about that specifically for Camtasia, but since they're on the kind of the AI path, the path of integrating AI as best as they can, that to me sounds like something that perhaps they could add, like just a drop-in effect. That would be brilliant. Might not be a bad idea to mention that to the folks at Camtasia. That as a feature request. I know they love to hear feature requests from their customers. Okay, so where was I? I know I jumped ahead to the problem launching 2024. The only thing I want, so if again, let me just show you my screen for a second. And I'm going to bring this down. So this is my Finder window. For those of you on Macs, you're familiar with this, but for those of you on a PC or a Windows computer, this is essentially Mac's version of File Manager. Okay, so let me see, what was I going to show? So if I go into, so this is the trailer. So this is the trailer that I just made here, and there's my Camtasia project file, cmproj. So that's what it looks like on a Mac. I think it's TSC Proj on a Windows computer. But regardless, if I double click this right now, it's going to open up whatever program I have automatically set to open up cmproj files. Okay. Currently, that's Camtasia 2023 because I haven't removed that from my computer yet. I have 2023 and 2024. So I just wanted to point this out that if I try to double click this, let's go ahead and double click it. No. Okay, there we go. Okay, no, sorry. I can't really show that because it is already open. So this is what I wanted to show you though. I created that live 33 file in Camtasia 2024. If I double click it to try to open it, it's going to try to open it in 2023. It's going to launch Camtasia 2023 and try to open this file. It won't. Okay. So I just wanted to show you a quick way around that. And again, this is for you Mac users. Right click it and go to Open With and choose 2024. Then it will launch. Okay, and you can see here 2023 is the default. I just haven't gone into my system settings yet and changed my default program to 2024. I should probably do that. Now that I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have to go back to 2023. But and then yeah, so that's I just haven't done that yet. So on Windows, if I think about this, I think on Windows the program is called Camtasia 2024 or Camtasia 2023, but the icon, so you'll run into the same thing. The icon, if you have it down in your taskbar, the icon doesn't have the program name, so you won't know that it's, how do I word this? The icon that you have on your taskbar, if you haven't changed it, is probably for the older version. If you have 2023 on your computer as well as 2024, so you may have to delete that and then add the 2024 icon to your taskbar, even though they look exactly the same. Does that make sense? Same thing here with me. If I show you, this is probably the best way to show it to you. See my menu bar, I've got it going down the side here. So if you look up near the top, that here I know is Camtasia 2023. And down here I know it's Camtasia 2024. That one goes away when I close all my Camtasia 2024 projects. That one always stays there because I always had that in my taskbar. Again, I just have to make the changes, but I can go ahead and quit. Like I can go up here and see it, hover over it, it says Camtasia 2023. I can right click it and quit. And now there's no dot there, meaning it is actually closed. But then this one here, there's a dot there because it's open, because I have it open on my other monitor. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of explain that if any of you were having troubles with that. So let me just get reorganized here a little bit. And Jonathan says, William, good tip. Camtasia should be listening to your streams. Maybe they are. Maybe they are. I have had some dialogue with them, so I know they're aware of these streams and the videos, and they seem to like them so far, so that's good. Let's go with Joanne Banco. Hello, and welcome to the live stream. Just joining. Can I screen record my iPhone in Camtasia? Let me think about this. See, and the only reason I'm having to think about this is because I don't typically capture my video directly with Camtasia Screen Recorder. When I make a video, I will capture the video separate on the camera or cameras. I've got another camera there if I want to take two different angles or a top-down angle as well. And then I will import them into Camtasia. So I quite often use my phone. So that's what you saw here. This, what I keep showing you, the other angle. This is my iPhone that I use for that. I will quite often capture video with my iPhone, but then I don't do it directly into Camtasia when I'm recording with Camtasia. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll record it on the iPhone, and then when I'm finished my recording, I will export the video from my iPhone to my computer. And with a Mac, I don't know if you're using a Mac or not, but I am using a Mac, and because the computer is a Mac and the phone is also Apple, it's very easy to airdrop files, videos and photos and whatnot from the phone to the computer. But if you're using an iPhone with a Windows computer, then it's just a matter of whether you plug your phone into your computer, right, and then get the video file off your phone onto your computer, and then import it into Camtasia. What I recommend you do is you need to find a way to sync up that video with whatever you're recording in Camtasia, okay? And what a good thing to do is you could clap. So if the video is looking at you, maybe you're capturing yourself on a webcam that you could delete later, right? But that would be a good way to sync up you're recording with an external camera recording, right? And then you just have to kind of line them up so the audio syncs perfectly. But yeah, that's what I do. I bring it in separately. But I don't believe, I think the only way, so Camtasia's recorder would only recognize video cameras that are plugged into your computer, okay? So, I mean, I suppose you could try to plug your iPhone into your computer and see if there's a way that Camtasia could recognize it as a webcam, for instance. Something tells me you might need some external software to make that work. I have not tried to do that. So, but actually that's a good point. That if that did work, then that might make things easier if you didn't want to go through the hassle of exporting your video to your computer. So yeah, that's what I know about that. Hopefully that helped a little bit. And Frank says, with Windows, you can get the recording from iCloud, web login. Okay, yeah. Oh, there you go. Of course. Save your video to the iCloud and then log in and download it that way. Absolutely. Yes, love AirDrop. Okay, well, there you go. I love AirDrop too. Like, holy cow. That's one of the best things when I got my Mac, besides the fact that the Mac is a whole lot faster than the older laptop that I had. But the ability to AirDrop from phone to computer and the other way as well, awesome. Huge quality of life improvement. But yes, you could also use iCloud, absolutely. Or any cloud if you're using another cloud service. Drive, Google Drive if you want. I use Google Drive a lot. So William says, Jonathan, it also works with sound. You can be hanging on the desk and you cannot hear it. It's so clear and works well. You just have to have a pretty good computer. Did I miss something? Oh, geez, I did miss a few things here. William said, look up on YouTube this title, NVIDIA Broadcast Fancy New Eye Contact Feature, Live Demo. I am going to look that up. Thank you, William. I will show you how to set it up and how it works. If you make me a moderator in the future, I can drop links. Very good. Yes. Yeah. At some point, I'm probably going to need moderators for sure. Probably not quite there yet. We're at a reasonable 18 people in the stream right now, which is. Hey, I want to grow this as large as possible. I want to create a community of Camtasia users here. When Camtasia 2024 dropped June 4th, that live stream was a busy one. That was, what did we get up to? I think it was 75 concurrent viewers, something all at once. That's the max it peaked at. How many viewers we had at one time? And yeah, the questions were coming in faster than I could keep up with. A moderator would have helped then, for sure. Question, I have a tutorial for an iPhone app I wanted to use on my Mac. Love your tutorials. I have a tutorial for an iPhone app. I'm wondering if did I already answer that? I have a tutorial for an iPhone app I wanted to use on my Mac. Okay, and that's what you used AirDrop for, perhaps? Let me know if I'm misunderstanding something. I think I answered your question. Where are we? Sorry, just getting caught up on the chats here. I will move on to the list shortly. Frank says there are also some screen share programs for the iPhone, iPad, but they do cost money. Then your phone will cast to your screen and you can record the screen. Okay, Air Server, I think, is one of them that I tried a couple years ago. But yeah, that's another way to do that too. Thank you for the advice. William says, NVIDIA Broadcast does the eye movement and also works with filtering out unwanted sounds. Okay, that's where we got to the sound thing. And Frank says, Power Mirror is the capture program you can use. Not sure what it costs, but there is a cost. I think I've heard of that one as well. And Jolene says, Joanne, does Mac have an iPhone simulator you can use on your Mac desktop? Then run your app within the simulator and screen capture it with Camtasia. That's a great idea. I'm not sure if it does. I'm sure there's a simulator available for the Mac. It might cost money though. If anybody knows, let us know. That could be helpful. But yeah, then you can screen capture it. Absolutely. Your channel is great. I'm sure it will grow big. Here's hoping. Let's have some fun along the way. I asked about recording iPhone to Camtasia so I could record a tutorial for an app on my iPhone. Gotcha. Yeah, and I've made tutorial videos like that countless times. But anytime I do, I record it on my phone and then I airdrop it to Camtasia. That's the way I've always done it. And since I always record my voiceover separate from my screen recording, that is really no different in terms of the flow of how I do things. So if it's an iPhone app, I will still record my voice first, get that, open up Camtasia, get the voice track laid out in Camtasia, and then now I have to add my screen recording. So whether I open up, start the screen recording in Camtasia to capture a screen, or I just go through what I want to go through on my phone, but hit screen record first and capture that and then export it to Camtasia. That's typically the way I've done it before. Now, the only thing with doing it that way is there is a little red recording button. I think it's around the time it turns red when you're recording your screen. So you'd want to edit that out if you don't want that in the actual screen recording. A little more professional if you can get rid of that. Sometimes it's just a matter of hiding that, like masking out that part of it, which might get rid of the time altogether, or you can put a new time on top of it. There are things you can do. And it also depends on the app. Like maybe what you're capturing in the app, maybe you're only capturing what's below that time bar at the top, right? So then it wouldn't be an issue. There's a Skunk Eye Music says there's an iPhone simulator included with Xcode on the Mac. There you go. There you go. Xcode, yeah, and I have not gotten into that. We're starting to sound like software developers now. That's but maybe it's not that hard to get into that. Yeah, if I wanted, what I would do honestly is I would open up YouTube and say, how do I launch an iPhone simulator on YouTube? Now, of course, you'd also have to make sure you're going to be able to get your app that you want to record into that simulator. So you have to be able to do that as well. But as long as you can do that, then maybe that's your answer. Try using that simulator instead of recording on your phone. She says, okay, I've not done the screen recording on my phone. I need to record the entire screen. Okay, yeah. So, and like, not sure what version of iPhone you have, but on mine, you pull down from the top and I put screen recorder. I don't remember if it was there initially, but you can add whatever apps show up on your screen when you kind of pull down from the top, if you know what I mean. I've got my screen recorder right there. So I pull down, press screen record, swipe it back up. Now the screen is recording and I go over to the app and then I go through things, right? And then at the end, I'll pull that down again and stop the screen recording. So when you do it that way, obviously there's going to be some that you want to trim off at the beginning and also at the end to only get what you're looking for to put in Camtasia. Or once you get it in Camtasia, you can just trim off the beginning and trim off the end. So yeah, good luck with that and let us know how it goes. Hopefully that works. And I'd be interested to know if you try the iPhone simulator or if you do the recording, and if you tried both, which worked best. Okay, caught up again. Let's move on. So last thing we talked about was actually up here, so the video I came up with yesterday. So the upcoming videos, so again, like last week, I do not have a video ready for tomorrow yet. So my plan is to have one, and it would be this one: animations versus behaviors. Might sound kind of simple, but I like to have a mix of more complicated tips or hacks, and also some even getting started stuff. So this would be more along the lines of a little on a little simpler, a little more basic stuff. Not very basic. It's not just talking about like the timeline or the canvas, but so animations, behaviors, those are the two main ways you can animate something. Okay, whether that's your video or call outs or whatever, any clip, anything, imported images, text, anything you want to animate, you can do it with animation arrows, right, or behaviors. And there's pros and cons to using them both. You can also use them both together. And I'm working on making a video that will basically discuss the pros and the cons, when to use animations, when to use behaviors, when to use them both together. There's also a motion path is another way to animate things. It's an even more complicated way to animate things, more complicated animations, and you can combine that with the others as well. You could go pretty deep and get some pretty crazy looking animations with combining all of that, right? So not sure I'm going to be able to have that ready for tomorrow because it's a little more involved. I want to make sure I cover a whole bunch of different ways you can use these effects. So there you go. That's what I'm working on here. And let's just see. Thanks. No problem on the help. And Bershi Berlin. Hello from Berlin, Germany. Hello, Bershi. Thanks for stopping in. And then, I just learned to use behaviors. Game changer. Absolutely is. I was years. Well, again, I don't know. I don't remember when behaviors came in, but I wasn't as plugged into new things coming into Camtasia at the time when it did. I was used to using animations the way I use them, right? And the only way that I was used to being able to change the type of animation with an animation arrow is to change the easing, whether it's use spring, bounce, or ease in and ease out, auto easing, or linear, or none. But then when I learned about behaviors, holy cow, like there's a lot of cool things you can do. And I use them a lot in my videos. That's how I don't know if you noticed, but if you were here when this began, or if you see the beginning of any of my live streams, you'll see some of the text kind of has like a floating motion. Or some of the icons in the intros of my videos kind of look like they float a bit. I use behaviors to achieve that. So I love them. I love them. But you can have animation, you can have behaviors, but also animate on top of that. So, it then becomes a matter of how creative are you? Like if you can think up a complicated motion that you want to apply, if you have those three tools and you kind of understand how they all work, then you could probably animate things. I mean, you don't have full control. It's not like you have full control over setting properties of keyframe. You can't set keyframes or anything like that. But there's a lot you can do with them. And so we'll get into that with that video. And then the other thing I was thinking of is, and this is very preliminary, but a behind the scenes video. And I know I do some behind the scenes stuff here on Tuesdays. Like I'll quite often, pick up my phone camera and kind of show you guys around a little bit. Sometimes I get questions about my setup and how I'm live streaming and what software I'm using and what hardware I'm using and all this. But I was thinking that it might be of some use to know how I do everything. So if I kind of identified a day, or maybe I do it over a week, and like here's like a week in the life or a day in the life, like work life. I'm not talking about like a vlog where I take you on a run with me or anything like that. I'm more talking about like how I pump out the videos the way I do. How do I make my videos? And basically have a camera over my shoulder that I sometimes talk to for the better part of a day and show you exactly what I do. So how do I get ready for a live stream? How do I set up the overlays? And you know, how do I make my thumbnails? How do I make the, you know, all of it, right? Let me know if I'm wrong, but I was thinking that might be a cool video just to kind of change things up a little bit. Something a little bit outside of just Camtasia, but how somebody is using Camtasia in their work life, basically. So that's what I'm thinking there. And I don't think that can be ready for Friday. So there may be something else that I do for Friday, but sometime in the next week or so is kind of what I'm thinking, that I'll do a behind the scenes video. So let me know, thumbs up or thumbs down. Good idea, not so good idea. I'm sure not everybody is interested, but some of you might be. Where are we here? So Frank says, I've been using Camtasia for many years and constantly learn new things. Many from you. Awesome. Glad to hear it. I'm learning new things all the time too, partly because they do come out with new things fairly often. So Camtasia today is definitely different than it was 2 years ago. I mean, there's similarities, but a lot more things you can do now. Skunk Eye Music says, I just plugged my iPhone into my Mac and fired up Camtasia 24. I was able to select the iPhone from the camera drop down to record the phone display. No simulator required. There you go. There you go. Was it Joanne? Somebody who was looking for that? That's awesome. Thank you, Skunk Eye, for pointing that out. That's awesome that you can do that. So yeah, that's great. No simulator required. Would you, so it just recognized it as a webcam, so you didn't have to record on your phone at all, right? You don't have to screen record. It's just, it recognizes it as a camera. That's cool if it does. Learn something new today. A studio tour would be good, but it must include your cat in order to be authentic and fantastic. All right, well, how about this? There's the cat. Oh, I'm in the way. There's the cat today. Say hi, Peanut. Yeah, she. I moved her bed up on top of my desk, and she's been with me here most of the day. But she's pretty quiet today. And yes, it would include the cat for sure. Peanut is her name. Also, you are a Maritimer, so how about a how-to shoot outdoors and then clean up audio and such in Camtasia? That's a good idea, sure. Yes, how to clean, yeah, that would be a good idea. I don't do a lot of that, but I can certainly put something together. That would be, I like that. That's a good idea. Because most of the videos I make, I mean, I have made some outside, but most of them I make are right here in my office or my studio, and I don't really have to do a lot of noise cleanup. I just have a standard set of effects that I apply that I created like 3 years ago that I apply to all my audio to make it sound better. But I am getting more into that because I want to be able to replicate that in Audacity as well, so I can show. That's also another video that I'm working on for the future. Love that idea from Joanne. Awesome. There's a vote. There's a vote for it. Hello, Tisacris Dream. Hello from Cebu, Philippines. Just new here. Welcome, the Philippines. I think you're the first that I know of who's visited from Philippines. Thank you from Halifax, Canada. Good for you to drop in. Thanks for joining. I hope you get some useful information from this. And Pam says, sure, I'd like to see the week video. Awesome. Okay, so yeah, there's, I guess, 2 ways I could do that. Kind of like a weekly thing. That would take probably a lot more time to do. I'd take smaller chunks from each day. I wouldn't want the video to be very long. I'm thinking, I wouldn't want it to be half hour. So maybe it's 15 minutes, maybe it's up to 25 minutes, somewhere in there, probably one of these types of videos. But yeah, so I could probably either do like little bits every day, like day 1, day 2, and yeah, that's actually that would work out well. I'm kind of storyboarding in my head to see how this would work and what I would, maybe I include slightly different things each day. Yeah, I like it. And then so a week in the life and a day in the life. There's 2 potential videos. Did I hold up 3 fingers? 2 potential videos. Wait, is your cat named Peanut? One of my cats is Peanut. Yes, she is Peanut. Yeah, Peanut. And the cat that we had, she passed away a couple years ago, was Jelly. So we had Peanut and Jelly. The joke was always from my kids that our third cat, if we ever had one, would be Butter. But Peanut Butter and Jelly? If you know, you know, I guess. Cats love to be up. Yes, she does. Yeah. She will paw at my leg here if I'm not paying enough attention to her. Right now she's pretty tired because she sleeps a lot during the day. She's not young anymore. She's 13, I think, almost 14. At Skunk Eye, thanks. I'll give it a try. Steve from the UK. Hello from England. Hello, Steve. You're late. Yes, you're late. But we'll catch up for the beginning of the stream later. Thanks for stopping in. Good to see you again, Steve. And Tiaskris, I'm not saying that right. I know I'm not. I'm sorry. Tiasakris Dream. I think I need learning in your channel. My channel is very small and new. I only have raw video like every life. Okay, well, hopefully you can get something new from my live streams. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to ask. I am here to help as best as I can. So yeah, so that's what's upcoming. Again, there might be something else I throw in there to, I have been posting 3 videos a week for several months now. Pretty soon, that's probably going to go down to 2, sometimes 1 a week, but I'll always do these live streams and kind of give you an update as to what's going on, because there's some other things I'm working on. And it's incredibly busy putting out, but I do have, I've got a bit of a system going here where it allows, so for instance, I can, from idea, if I'm going to show you how to do something in Camtasia, like if there's a relatively simple tutorial video that I'm going to make in Camtasia, it may, like if it's an effect and if there's not a ton of pre-work or setup that I have to do, if I can just kind of bring in a video and then show you how to use an effect. Let's say the video is 10 minutes ish, something like that. From idea to finished video uploaded to YouTube, I can probably do that in 2 to 3 hours, and it's all done. That includes scripting out the intro. Lately, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've been a little bit lazy. The outro I have not changed in several videos. I'm using the same one because it's the same thing. I don't need to re-record that every time. At some point, I'll probably do an overhaul and change these videos a little bit, maybe update the intro, maybe even change the music, who knows. But for now, I'm using the same intro. So when I make a video, I will script the intro, and I use an app called Prompt Smart. I script it in Google, what's the word? Docs. Had a brain fart there for a second. Google Docs, I script it there, and then I use Prompt Smart to import it to my phone. And Prompt Smart is the teleprompter software that kind of reverses it on your phone, and I put the phone up here, then I can see it in the camera, press record, I press record for the audio in Audition. I do the intro, it takes me about 1.5 minutes to record that. Then I open up a Camtasia project, I lay out the intro. The outro is already there from before, I use a template. And now I just have to record the body. So for that, I will open up a sample project, right, and put it on this monitor. I will have my audio recording. So then there's 3 things I need to record. I'll open OBS up over here. I'll use OBS to record the screen. I'll press start to record that, start on the camera, start on the audio. And then I usually have some notes just to make sure I don't forget anything. And I'll start talking. And I usually start by saying, so here we are in a sample project, blah, 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 blah. And I go through whatever. And if I make a mistake or I have to pause to read something, I will. I'll just pause and, okay, now I want to say this. And I'll continue. Everything is still recording, right? And then when I've finished all that, stop this recording, stop the screen, stop the camera. And now I've got those 3 files. I bring them all into the Camtasia. I sync it up. And the intro. So the intro I do record separately. For the intro, it's just video and audio. For the main body, it's video, audio, and screen recording. So I sync everything up, build it all out, export it or render it. So 3 hours. That's pretty quick though. More often than not, it's a little bit longer than that, but it's a system and it works for me. And if anybody wants to speed up their process or anybody thinking they need to pump out more content, if you get a system in place that allows you to create content relatively quickly and decreases the amount of setup you have to do every time, that is huge. That'll really help you. It'll take a long time before you do your first one, but then once your first one is done, like if you can leave the microphone in the same place, leave your camera in the same place, everything. If you're always recording in the same place, and if you've done it once, you can save it as a template. Now you've got a place to start, a project file to start with every time. Then you can recreate all of that relatively quickly. YouTube description, same thing. Copy and paste, and then make a couple modifications. Bang, you got a new YouTube description. Thumbnail would maybe take me anywhere from 10 minutes to half an hour, depending on how. I'll usually have an idea as to what I want it to look like. I've been reusing some old not old, but the first few pictures I did of myself to make thumbnails. I've been kind of recycling and reusing them over and over again. I should probably take some new shots soon. But yeah, it's a system and it tends to work for me. So there you go. A little bit about how I do it. Joanne, really glad I found your channel. I'm glad, Joanne, that you found my channel too. I hope you get some use out of it. I hope we can help you in some way. Frank has to run, but have a great day, and I'll see you later. The magic of video. Absolutely, Frank. Thanks for stopping in, and we'll see you next time. James Ryan, took your Fiverr advice. Not making big money yet. Maybe it'll take longer than 4 days. Yeah, probably will. For those who don't know, I am a seller on Fiverr. I started doing that back in 2019, I think it was. But yeah, when I started with that, oh gosh, I think my first month I made 1 sale, and the second month I didn't make any sales. The third month might have been 4 or 5 sales, but then the fourth month I think it was like 50, and then by 6 months in I was making 100 sales a month. And so stick with it. Good luck with it, James. I've got I do have one old video that I did on Fiverr about 3 years ago. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of my channel, but I should do an update of that because you're not the only one. Somebody else, a couple other people have asked about that. I still do work through Fiverr now, but not quite as much. By choice, not quite as much as I was, say, 2 years ago when I mean it was too much. I was getting too much work, honestly. And but yeah, anybody looking to outsource your skills and make a little bit of side money or even full time, depending on how hard you go at it, absolutely you can. And the things I did through Fiverr, editing videos, adding subtitles to videos, captions, simple things like if you know Camtasia, you can, I mean, some of the videos I'm making now are showing you how to do some fairly complex things in Camtasia. Well, there may be people out there, there are people out there who just want you to, you know, trim off the beginning and the ending of a video they took of themselves so that they can upload it to Facebook, right? Just something as simple as that. It might take you 5 minutes, if that. And most of that time is going to be downloading their video and then re-uploading it back to them when you're done. So for a 5-minute job like that, you might make $20 or, you know, whatever. Like it, and just imagine if you could get 10 jobs like that a day, right? You can make some good money. And when I say $20, that's small. I mean, when I started out, I would charge little and over deliver. Okay, that's some advice, especially when you're starting out before there's traction and the algorithm, the Fiverr algorithm, starts showing your gigs more often. I charged a little amount for a lot of work just to start getting reviews. That's the key in the beginning. You want to get reviews, and then when people see you come up and see that you have, you know, 5-star rating or whatever, and lots of reviews, positive reviews, they're more apt to purchase from you. And at that point, maybe you start raising your rates. So anyways, kind of got off on a tangent there, but glad to hear it, James, and good luck with it. Let us know how you do. Joanne says people have no idea how much work is involved in putting out videos. You are correct. No idea. It's funny. I've got some videos that took me literally a month to make. And I look back, it's like, geez, like, and they're not my best performing videos either. So it's funny. Like the more complicated, I mean, a lot of it I bring on myself. Like if you're trying to be perfect making videos, more often than not, you're not going to be, and you're just going to spend way too much time. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into putting out videos for sure, but having systems in place is key. If you can have the right systems, and I can't even really tell you what systems to use. I mean, I can give you pointers and stuff, and maybe I'll put together a guide or cheat sheet or something that might help you guys out a little bit. But because it would be different for everybody, right? You know, I'm not very good with cameras. Like there's so much that this camera here can do that I don't know enough about it. All I know is that with the lens I've got on it, it looks pretty good, right? And I know how to get files off of it, but there is a lot more to it. Hello? Oh, I'm hearing things. I thought somebody was at the door. There's a lot more to it, to the camera than I'm aware of, but so for me, setting up the camera and, you know, the frame rate and, you know, where does it focus and all these things, it just gets complicated when I didn't need to go with a camera like this. I could be using my phone. Incidentally, it just popped into my head. Just another little tidbit of advice. What do you think is more important, the quality of the video or the quality of the audio? And I'll give you a hint. The answer is audio. All right. So yeah, it's nice to have good looking video, but people will forgive subpar video more so than they'll forgive subpar audio. Okay. If the story is good, or if the content is good, like if you're teaching a tutorial, if I'm teaching a tutorial how to do something, and if you're engaged, if you like what I'm saying, you'll stick around, even if the video may not be perfect. This video should be okay. It should be 1080p, right? But the audio I've made sure is good, like very good. I think it's better than average. And that's because if it was like a tinny sound, or just it was a crappy old mic that I use, or even just the mic in the laptop, if I didn't sound as good, that is more apt to turn viewers away than if the video wasn't perfect, if that makes sense. That's just something that I've come across and that I've actually noticed myself as well. So there you go. Pam, if everybody who likes this, it helps Rob if you hit the thumbs up button. Thank you, Pam. Very much. Yes, it does. Thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up only if you like what you're hearing. I use Big VU as a prompter sometimes. Okay, I'm not familiar with that one. So that's another. There's several teleprompter apps that you can use. The reason I like Prompt Smart is because it uses the iPhone's microphone. Okay, so can't really show you now because I have my phone set up as a camera, but the Prompt Smart app uses the microphone, and when I hit play on my script and put it up here, set it in the teleprompter, as I speak the words, the teleprompter automatically scrolls up. Okay, so it listens to me and it will scroll as needed. There are other apps, other teleprompter apps that you can use a remote to kind of manually make it go up. But I really like the Prompt Smart one for that. And I think there's a, I forget what I pay for it. I think it's $45 per year subscription that I use for that. Joanne says, what service do you offer on Fiverr? So I have several gigs. If you want to look it up, it's The Maritimer is my username on Fiverr. But I've done a lot of subtitling gigs and video editing. Tutorial videos, quite honestly, is what I do most of the time now. So if I go, actually, let me do it this way. And share with you guys. Whoops, where'd that go? Oh, here. Too many monitors sometimes. So here is Fiverr. I've just signed in. I'm not signed in. I just opened an incognito window just so I don't want to show usernames and stuff of my customers. But if I go, actually, instead of typing my name, if I go tutorial video, do I pop up with that one? Uh-oh, that's not good. Not right away. Well, let's type in my name, The Maritimer. Search for The Maritimer. Oh, maybe it's not the. Jeez, I can't find my own account. Right there. There you go. So that is my channel. So it is at The Maritimer. Yep. So my gigs, so subtitles, video tutorials, voiceover. Now this video podcast one is just one. So these are the two that I have sold the most. Okay. And mostly these subtitle jobs. Now, I haven't been getting as many of these lately because I think AI is taking a lot of that work away from people who are doing subtitles because that's becoming easier and easier for people to do without having to hire out help. But the larger jobs that I get are in here. The making tutorial videos using Camtasia. That's what I use to make these. Okay, and then there's portfolio and yeah, so there you go. Those are the gigs that I offer. And yeah, so I've been doing it for several years, and that's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work though. And then so what I'm in the middle of doing is, so like kind of the long-term plan is to kind of move away from doing the work for people to teaching people how to do the work for people. Okay, and that's all part of what this whole YouTube channel is about. I'm teaching you guys how to do what I have been doing, basically, if that makes sense. And if all works well, I can turn this into a business. Right now, it's kind of a hobby, and I'm having fun with it. But that's kind of the overall plan. So whether I come up with courses that go way deep into some of these things that I do to kind of walk you through how to do some of these things. But probably I'm thinking more so any courses that I come up with will be not how to use Camtasia specifically, but how, because that's what these free videos on YouTube and these live streams are all about, is to help you with Camtasia. But more from a business point of view, like how to use Camtasia to create a career, right? Or to be a freelancer, or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. It's still up in the brain processing. I'm not quite there yet. And Joanne says, audio, hands down. Absolutely. 100% correct. Your video and audio is excellent. Thank you very much. The camera is half decent. So I use the Sony A6400. I think I've got links in my descriptions of my videos if you want to know exactly which ones I use. But the A6400 with a lens with a low f number, f1.4, 16 millimeters, I believe it is, the lens. That's what gives me like a blurry background. Like I'm in focus, but the background is blurry. Makes that look really good. And then the microphone, actually, I didn't go that well. I shouldn't say I didn't go that expensive. It's not as expensive as some people use, but mine is the Synco mic D2, I think it's called. And it's basically a knockoff version of the Sennheiser MK416, or I'm probably getting that wrong. But that's like a $800 mic. Mine was $300, I think, something like that. Still not cheap, but sounds good, I think. It's a shotgun mic. And then I have, of course, the audio interface that it plugs into. That guy there, that little red thing, the Focusrite, is the audio interface. That is the mic. I don't know where the word. There it is. Synco. I can't hold this right. Synco. Mic D2. Okay, that's what I use. And the camera is plugged into the computer. Basically, well, currently it's plugged into the A10 Mini, and that allows me to switch views, right, between that view and that view. But anyways, that gets more complicated than people need. That has nothing to do with the audio. Okay, so let me move on. How are we doing for time? Anyways, we're at 4 o'clock here. So yeah, I'm not Eastern. It's 4 o'clock here in Halifax. So it is 3 o'clock Eastern time. So I've been at this for 2 hours. Are we doing okay? Still have 16 of you in here, so I can't be all that boring, I suppose. I don't know if I'm going to get through this entire list here today, though. But I'll keep going a little bit. There's so this next thing, so I wanted to just clarify one thing, or two things. Last week when I talked about Camtasia 2025 and what's coming out in the future, not what's here now, I went through some things that at the Camtasia labs they had shown us, noise cancellation being one of them. So I wanted to clarify noise cancellation. Sorry, not cancellation. Noise reduction is going to be in Camtasia 2025, not before. Okay, it's going to be in Camtasia Essentials. You're not going to need Audiate for this. It may be added to Audiate. They weren't sure, but it's going to be in the main version of Camtasia. So you won't need Audiate to use noise cancellation. And if you want to go back to last week's live stream and look at that part of it where I discussed noise cancellation, I played a video that they shared with me. I recommend you do that because it was pretty impressive what that's going to do. You're going to be able to film yourself, like somebody mentioned earlier. If I filmed myself outside here, and if if there's seagulls and there's waves and stuff, you could hear all kinds of outside noises. This new noise, what is it again? Reduction tool is going to eliminate everything but my voice at a single click. And it's very impressive. So that's going to be Camtasia 2025, not sooner. Okay, but still, that's going to be likely in October. So there's that. and the fact that it's going to be available in Camtasia Essentials. You're not going to need Camtasia Pro or the assets or anything like that. Okay, so I wanted to clarify that, and the fact that everything that I talked about last week is for future versions of Camtasia, not in the current version. Okay, so that's all I had written down for that one. Problem launching in 2024, already talked about that, so we can skip right over that. This canvas size is just a quick little thing. Somebody had asked, they were a little confused by the canvas size and the percentage and the fit to size and those sorts of things. So let me quickly go over here. Let's just remove that, and so I don't need both of these here. So let's just enlarge this. So let's delete that. Okay, so right here, when you open Camtasia, okay, you see this percentage up here? I don't see that, and you see fit, so I don't see this percentage as being something that means anything, really. I mean, maybe it does, but like if you set that at 100%, okay, like is that 100% of what? If I look at my project settings, it's 1920 by 1080, okay? But I don't think that's not, well, maybe it was awful close. We're looking at, my monitor that I have this on is a 1920 by 1080 monitor, okay? Oh, whoops, didn't want to do that. So yeah, I don't know why, I don't know what that 100% represents. I don't think it's the full 1920 by 1080. But regardless, it doesn't really mean anything to me because I am quite often adjusting the height of my tracks here, whether I do it here over with this global adjustment lever here, or if I add a whole bunch more tracks to this and I want to see more of them at once, I may drag this up here. So if I drag that up and out of the way, some of this screen is being cut off. So I am always, very often, going up here, just clicking that and clicking fit. And one thing I typically do is I will then also use my wheel on my mouse to scroll down 1 or 2. I like to see around the edges in case I have a graphic on the canvas that maybe is going outside of the canvas area. For instance, let's say, I scaled this up a little bit, right? If I go fit, I can't really tell, how this is this up or down? Like, can't really tell. I like to be able to see everything. Okay, so I'll go fit, and then I'll even scroll out a little bit like that, so I can see everything. And if you want to, so I use my mouse wheel a lot. If you wheel in and out or up and down, that's what it does. Okay, and if your cursor is up near the top, that's where it zooms into. Or if it's at the bottom, it'll zoom in and out at the bottom. Okay, so don't worry about what this number is, and I'm kind of speaking to the person who was asking me to kind of demonstrate this, because the percentage number doesn't really matter, especially if you're going to be adjusting this a lot, right? And if I want this to look bigger, right, I may drag this down, and all of a sudden, okay, so there's 2 ways I can make this bigger. I can go up and click fit, or I can put this in the center and mouse wheel up like that. Okay, again, now it says 42%, but again, that number doesn't matter, doesn't mean anything to me. Okay, so that's just a little trick or whatever, how I navigate around the canvas. If that helps, I hope it does. So we got 2 other things here. And I think what I'll do is I'll do the color grade multiple clips right now. So let me just move this down. Got this little highlighter overlay that I can move around. Does that help at all? Helps me. Reminds me of what we've been talking about. So there you go. So color grade multiple clips. Let me go back to this screen here. And in fact, I'm going to raise this because I'm going to add more clips. So I'll zoom this. Let's Control Z back. There we go. Okay, so what we're referring to, so color grading. If I just delete these color adjustments, there's probably a way to delete them all at once. I just want to show you my process of how I go through this. You can see what I'm doing, yeah. Okay, and then this first one. So now you can kind of see these ones look a little more grayed out. Okay, compared to that one. If I just delete that. So when I'm doing a video of myself, what works for me, use this color adjustment. I drag it down to my first clip. Okay, and then, I mean, you don't have to highlight it. It's over here in the properties. If you scroll down, it says color adjustment. If you happen to highlight that effect, then that's the only effect that'll be shown in properties. Okay, so that's a little bit of a tip here. Yeah, so I might have to move me down a little bit here so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so yeah, so here we go. The brightness, so if we reset all these to 0, 0, 0, 0, that gets us back to basically the effect not being applied at all. And that's kind of a trick that isn't obvious, but you can toggle this on or off, and when you do that with all the values at 0 and look at the canvas, you can see that nothing is changing. Okay, but now what I do to color grade or color correct, color grade I think is the proper term for what I'm doing. I'm not correcting a certain color, I'm grading it to the way I want it. I will typically bring this down. I mean, I know what I do. -6, 5, 24. That's what I do, but I'll go through the process. So I find that's too washed out if I go up in the brightness, so I like to bring that down a little bit. But then you can bring the contrast up a little bit. That would be too far. Okay, so that looks too gray and washed out, but maybe somewhere in there. Okay, and then the saturation, again, how much do you want the colors to pop? Okay, probably up there. So now what do I have? So -8, 7, 17. Again, what I typically have is, and actually let's do this. I'm going to drag one of these adjustments down to the next one, and I will change them so that you can see it. -6, 5, 24. Okay, so that's what I usually have. Let's just kind of scroll back and forth here, see the difference. There's hardly any difference. So it's a preference thing. Color grading is a preference thing. So if I delete that one, if I like this, okay, I'll go Control C and then highlight all of these, and I'll right click and I'll paste the effects. Okay, that added that same effect to all of my clips. So you can either apply your color grade first before you do your edits. So I've already done all the edits here, and that's why there's all these different clips. You can apply the color adjustment before you do the edits, then you only have to apply it once, because when you split a clip that's already had the effect added to it, like here, we'll split it, that effect goes to both sides, okay? Or you can do what I just did. Since I already did my edits, I added the color grading here, and then I copied it and then pasted it to all the other ones. Okay, so that's two different ways to do that. Now, what does this have to do with color grading across multiple clips? That's not, so the way the question was asked, oh, let me just, sorry, just so Pam says, I use 50%, that works for the fit to screen for me. 100% is too close. Very good, yep. Perfect. It's also dependent on what monitor you use, what your resolution is set at for your monitor. So yeah, it could be 50%, or it's whatever you're used to, whatever works best for you, really. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So what he was referring to when he was talking about multiple clips was, let's say we added B-roll. You guys all know what B-roll is? So basically supporting video to your main video, right? So this video here is kind of a poor example. It's only 36 seconds long, so there's really no need for me to add B-roll to this. I didn't think so, because it's just a 30-second trailer video that I added. But if you have like a 5-minute video that's of you talking to the screen, and that's all it is, you may want to break that up by adding B-roll, which is just supporting things. So like if you're you kind of have to follow along your story or whatever you're talking about. If you're talking about and then when you get on your cell phone and you're on a phone call, blah, 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 well, then maybe you want to go to where you get your assets from and search for somebody talking on their cell phone, right? And add that to your video and have your video cut to that while you're still speaking, but then that alternate video is being shown instead. So let me show you what I mean. If I go up to media, and let's go into Camtasia assets here, and right here where it says footage. So here are some footage that I can add to the video. Oh, real quick. No problem, Joanne. We'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping in. I hope it helped. Hope to see you again. So if we add some footage, let's grab this footage here. Okay, and let's say we want it to last only to, let's just double click the beginning of this. Let's split it there. Okay, let's maybe add this one. Okay, we'll shorten it up. Let's make it that short. And then, I don't know, there's other video clips. That's a different color. Let's add that one. We'll split that. And then let's add one of these because it's a little different again. Okay, these, I realize these mean really nothing to the story, so to speak, of my video. It's just, let's say these are the B-roll clips that I wanted to add.
That's all about helping you with Camtasia, YouTube, and live streaming. I share editing and recording tips on everything from getting the best screen recordings to leveling up your audio and video, and I do so by demonstrating.
Okay, so that's the idea of B-roll. That's how you add B-roll, and you can, they don't have to be back to back like that. You can spread them out, whatever makes the most sense. But the question came up, how do you make them all, especially if you're grabbing footage from different places that were shot by different people, say, how do you get them all looking the same? Okay, and this is what I would do. So first of all, let's start with this one. We can go over to visual effects and filters, and you can start with one of these filters if you want. Okay, so I mean, start with any, let's go teal and orange. I use that sometimes, and bring that down. That applies an effect like a LUT or a color filter to the video. It changes its look. Okay, I'm just going to shorten that up so both the same length as all the other ones. Now if you think that was, the colors applied were too much, you can come over here. Again, I'm going to move myself down out of the way a little bit. That's probably fine. Over here under color LUT, teal and orange, you can move this intensity bar. Okay, if you go all the way down to 0, that's as if it wasn't added at all. Or you can select different, different grades of it. Okay, now these videos all look very different. That's got a lot of color to it. So does that one, probably even more. This one is a little more washed out. Okay, but if I apply that same color LUT to all of those, let's copy it, highlight these, and right-click, paste effects. Okay, you can see how they changed. Okay, and you can see how they changed if you highlight it and then toggle it on and off. Okay, now what you can do if you want to modify these, so for instance this one, there's a lot more color to this one than this one. Okay, if I want to dial the color up on this, I wouldn't do it with LUTs. Like maybe the LUT is a good place to start, and that's fine, but I would go to what I just showed you earlier, and that is, scroll up here. Oh, we'll go to Visual Effects, and this color adjustment, I'd bring that down. Let's bring that down. Let's highlight it, and let's bring these all back to 0 again. 0, 0, 0. So that's, again, like it's nothing has been applied, but I have the effect there, so I can apply it. Let's copy it and paste it to all these. Okay? So again, the color adjustment is on all of these with values of 0, but now we can play with them and change the values. So this one, again, it's got a lot of color. Compared to this one, not so much. So let's go to color adjustment, and to get some color into that, we can probably bump this saturation up a little bit. Play with the contrast, and it's trial and error. Quite honestly, this is all trial and error. Brightness maybe down a little, that might be too much. So, I mean, the good news is there's only really 3 knobs we're playing with here. I mean, there is more you can do, but that might be too much red. Okay, and I'm just going to play with all these until I get a similar look, and I'll keep dragging this back and forth. And now, instead of just changing that one, maybe this one. Maybe I want to change this one to make it look a little more like that one. So again, what am I going to do? Change the contrast. Saturation. Okay, and same with this one. Okay, so it's a matter of just going back and forth and seeing if you can get them all looking very similar. Now this one is quite different. This one I think is too bright. We can turn that down. Maybe even the contrast down, and maybe the saturation down too. Is that closer, a closer match? Oh, those are very saturated compared to this. So no, I think the saturation has to go up on this a bit to match. Now, do they all have kind of the same look? Similar, close, okay? So that's what I do. If I want to really dial in, and there are other things you can do, okay? I mean, I'm only doing the basic adjustments with these, and quite honestly, I have never really gone much deeper than this, but you can. Under color adjustment, under range here, you can change all kinds of, look at all these other options you got here, okay? You've got all that. You can change this, you can change the like curves and stuff. I mean, this is a little bit beyond me right now, but if you play with them, you can kind of see what everything does. Okay, the ease in and ease out just means it's like a fading into that effect over time. And then of course with the color LUT, same thing. You can change the color LUT as well, and the intensity and all that. So anyways, that's just a kind of a brief overview of what I do when I want to manipulate the colors. And again, for my own videos, I don't do very much at all. Just a little bit of color adjustment. I don't apply a LUT. I mean, I suppose I could. If I added that same teal and orange LUT to mine. So again, I did do this once before. I don't know how many of you saw the hologram video that I made about a month, maybe a month and a half ago. And then the kind of the fake movie trailer that I did, I used a teal and orange LUT like this. Now I might have dialed the intensity down a little bit, okay? But it just gives you a little different look, right? So, and if you compare movies or films, you'll know that some have their own specific look, and that if you took a clip from like a Disney movie and put it into like a Batman movie or something, it just wouldn't flow the same. It wouldn't look the same. But you can make one look like the other and vice versa, right? By manipulating colors like this. Okay, so let me just, you can highlight. If I don't want that LUT there anymore, I can either toggle it off like this, or I can highlight it and press the delete key, or I can hit this X right here to get rid of it. 3 different ways to get rid of it. So yeah, that's a brief little tutorial demonstration of how to use color filters, LUTs, color adjustments. Briefly showed you what I do for my own videos, and also what I would do if I'm adding B-roll and I wanted them all to have a consistent look. It's not always that important that they have a consistent look, but it depends on what you're making. If you're making a video, like a story, like a cinematic type video, then yeah, it probably makes sense for you to spend some time making sure everything has the same look and feel from start to finish. Okay, but your typical, vlog videos or training videos like this, even if you put yourself in your training videos, if your face is in a circle mask down in the corner, or you've got the background removed, it probably doesn't matter if you do too much with the color LUTs and all that. I'm in the habit of adding those 3 small color adjustments to all of my clips, even before I remove the background, if I'm going to do that, or even if I apply a mask, I still do that. But that's just me, and it's what I end up. It's part of my system that I have in place going forward. So that's what I do. Joanne, had to go. Thanks for stopping in. Hope to see you next week. S.A. Cortez, hi Rob, I'm always learning from your videos. Keep it up, my friend. A big hug, Sergio Acquieri. Thanks, Sergio. No problem. Glad you get some use out of my videos. Always nice to hear. Great. So the last thing I have on my list is make a reel and a short, but I think I've probably gone too long. I'm going to put that, and I think I've done this once before anyways. I've pushed it off before. So there's really, I can quickly say there's a couple things to keep in mind when you're creating a reel. If you're creating a reel, whether you're creating it from scratch or creating it from another video, you want to first set up your project canvas size, and you want to set it up 1080 by 1920. Okay, 1080 across by 1920. So that's vertical. Okay. So the same size as a typical widescreen video, but the reverse. So like up here, you'd go up here, project settings, and I mean, there might even be a preset here. Yep, right there, 1080 by 1920. I don't ever use any of those though. Where are we? We're just cancel. All I would typically do, it's just in the habit of doing this, I would just type it in. 1080, tab, 1920, tab, apply. And then we zoom out so I can see it with my mouse wheel. And there we go. And then you build your reel however you want. Now, do you want yourself to be full screen? So a couple things you can do. If you only want to show this much of you, you could add text in the title up here, and maybe even subtitles down here. That's what I used to do a lot in Fiverr. I would do things like this for people who had videos and they wanted it to be changed into an Instagram reel or a YouTube short. And all they wanted was like a title put up here and then the subtitles showing down here. This is how I did that. Sometimes they just want a different color up here. So if so, I mean, you could change the background color under project settings, change that to say white. Okay, but let's say you wanted white here with black text for the captions, and up here you wanted, I don't know, something different. Then you'd go to annotations. Actually, I'd go to favorites because I have my square in here that I use all the time. And you would put that there. You would change the color to whatever you want, and then maybe some text, add some text like this. Text goes here. Change the whatever, right? Change it to bold. Change the size if you want. Okay, so anyways, you could do that, or you can get rid of that shape that you added, the text is still there, and just make your video bigger. Okay, you may need to recenter it, and maybe you don't want title up there anymore, but you just want the subtitles here, right? And then there's your video. Now you may even want to cut it across here and put something else down below. All kinds of things you can do. So that is a brief overview of Reels and how you would make them. And you can either turn an existing Camtasia project into a Reel, right? Save the project under a different name, maybe go _Reel or short at the end of the file name, and then save the new project canvas dimensions. Or you can take the video from your project that you've already exported or rendered, the MP4, import that into a new project file that you set up as a Reel and work with it that way. You don't have as much control over changing things if you do that. Yeah, that's how I would go about. So I said I wasn't going to show you how to make a Reel, but then I just went ahead and showed you how to make a Reel. I didn't spend too much time on it though, because I think time is getting short here. We're almost 2.5 hours into this. How's everybody doing? We have here. Anyone else having issues with templates from Camtasia 2024? I have not had issues with templates, but yeah, if anybody else has issues with it, let us know. It says, great job, Rob. My production is getting better because of your great videos. Awesome, Kev. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for enjoying the content. And if there's anything else you'd like to see me do, let me know. Glad you could stop by. Let's see, what else do we have here? Greg says, fantastic job, Rob. I see your comments come in here on my YouTube live chat, but then it takes about 5 seconds before it shows up on Ecamm, which will allow me to post it on the screen. So sometimes I see and I can answer your comment before I can actually put it on the screen. But thank you. I'm glad you liked today's video. If anybody has any questions about anything in this video, now's your last chance to kind of put them in here in the chat. But after this video is finished, or if you're watching this video on the replay, feel free to leave any questions you have in the comments below, because as soon as this as soon as this video is finished, it will become a video on demand. One other thing I wanted to let you know, when I do these live streams, I make sure you don't see any ads. Okay, I have monetization turned off for these live streams. And the reason is because I only had that option for the last 3 weeks or so, once my channel got monetized. But the reason is, if I had monetization on for these live streams, then I would be interrupted every once in a while by an ad that you would be forced to watch. And then when the ad was finished, you would pick up, like you would miss some of the live stream. Okay, if the ad was 30 seconds long, you'd miss 30 seconds of whatever I was saying. Okay, but it works differently if you watch this on the replay. So when the live stream is finished, I turn monetization on at that point, because then when you watch this on the replay, if you're interrupted by an ad, what happens is the video was live stream, but now it's a video, is paused. And when the ad is finished, then the video picks up again from where it was paused, if that makes sense. So you won't miss anything if you see an ad pop up when you're watching these live streams on the replay. Okay, so I will always do the live streams without monetization, without ads popping up. So I just wanted you guys to know that. And Steve in the UK says, I did have problems with a template. TechSmith fixed it and sent me a link to a version which fixed it. Okay, very good. I wonder if that's, I know Camtasia 2024, there was an update, I think, to the Mac version, but not the Windows version. Maybe there has been one for the Windows version since. I'm not sure. It's been a week or so since I've checked. But I did check, this morning, and there is still no new version for the Mac. There was one update, and I think it was the same day it came out, or the day after. And Sybil says, "Yay, no ads. Keep liking and commenting on the videos after they post." Thanks, Sybil. Hope you're enjoying the videos. But yeah, ads kind of suck. But hey, it's what helps. So the way that works is if a channel is monetized, like my channel is now, I have the ability to turn monetization on or off for each individual video. So I have them on now for my videos that are posted. And all it means is I have no control over whether you're presented with an ad that you can skip, or that you have to watch 3 seconds of, or that you have to watch all of it. I don't know how those decisions are made, but they're made by YouTube. But the way it works is creators share a percentage of whatever revenue YouTube is collecting for those ads. So in my case, and I may do a video on this too, only because I think they are popular type videos. It might help my channel grow. But I may do a video on like how much revenue do I earn from my channel being monetized. The short answer is I've earned nothing yet. And that's only because you got to wait till the end of the month, and then it's the 15th of the month after that before you get paid. But anyways, it's going to be around $150 a month right now starting off, and it will grow as the channel grows. But again, it's totally based on the type of content that I talk about, which affects the type of ads that get displayed on my videos. So yeah, I have very little control over that, but it is something that helps support creators. So that's how that works. But again, yep, no ads on the lives. Okay, 4:33. Unless there's any other questions, I think I will stop there. Yeah, thank you for everybody who put up with me for this long. There's still 14 of you. That's awesome. So again, like Sybil and Frank have said, and Pam, give a thumbs up if you liked this, if it helps you, because it does help the algorithm. It helps me. Yeah, I'd really appreciate it. And look for another video or 2 or 3 between now and next Tuesday. I'll post. I'll try to get that animations behaviors video out tomorrow. If not, it'll be Friday, maybe Thursday. Yeah, I'll be back next Tuesday to talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. So any questions you have, you can ask them at the bottom of this video, or at the bottom of any video. Questions I will typically bring to the live streams. And James says, "Where fix from Engineered Efficiency is where I published AutoCAD tutorials a few years back." Very cool. And Cortez SA says, "Thanks, Rob." No problem, Cortez, no problem. So once again, thanks again for everybody who stopped in today and asked questions, participated. Happy to see you, and I hope you do well this week. Stay safe, and I will see you next week. Bye for now.